taken over from you.
We are just
The mantle has been passed.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Welcome to this meeting, full council of Uppingham Council in the council chamber, 7:30 on the 1st of June 2016. I've got two alternative things to bang here, so you'll know my mood according to which one I choose. What I've done in the last fortnight is quickly summarised. I attended the meeting of Uppingham Neighbourhood Forum on the 19th of May. I attended a board meeting of Uppingham First the following Tuesday. I was very pleased and honoured to be a guest of Uppingham School for Speech Day. Many congratulations to Miranda on the catering. And then I attended the reopening of Uppingham Council Meeting, which was a very fun event. So that's my itinerary up to date. Very sorry to hear that we're going to be losing Bill. Where's Bill?
He's here.
Yeah. It must be somewhere very nice that you're going to leave Uppingham.
We're moving to Westland by Welland. We're renting until we find somewhere to.
It'll flood.
We're on the hill, so you're okay, Dave. But we are still looking for somewhere in the area, so it's just a matter of whether we can find somewhere that's appropriate. But we had an offer for our house before. After Brexit, property prices going to fall by 25% anyway, so I might figure out what the going is good. Well, thank you for those kind words.
Can I, on behalf of the council, thank you for your service to date, and wish you the very best of luck.
There.
Propose to suspend standing orders, in other words, to remain seating. Do I have a second?
You do.
Seconded by Pete Rees. Those in favour?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Those against?
3 against. And that's the lot.
Yep. Okay. Has everyone signed the register? Oh, and I should mention that I understand that we're filming this meeting. Apologies. Do we have apologies for absence?
We do. Dave Ainsley has a prior engagement that he's signed up to. Ian Salt has been to a funeral this afternoon, and this is where my early onset. And Lindsay, unfortunately, is not very well at the moment. She's taken on board a cold, so we have 3 apologies.
I'll second it.
Those in favour?
That's all.
Right, declarations of members' interests and applications for dispensation. Is any member?
For me.
I beg your pardon?
Item 15 for me, Mark. Sure.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm unsure, Chair. Item 16, the planning application from Norm Thompson. He is my next door neighbour and I know him well, but I have no peculiar interest whatsoever.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay,
Thank you. Very good. Okay, item 5, to confirm minutes of annual council meeting, 18th of May, 2016.
Seconded.
Those in favour?
It's been me and Mark.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all very quick. That's all. Okay.
Right, so we move on to democratic 15 minutes, opportunity for the public to speak. Do we?
Shall I just
Two
confirm
members?
who's in the? We have in the gallery. We have Neil Carpenter, Pam Dolby, and Mark Oxley.
Good evening to you all. Good evening. I know that at least two of you want to say something. So whoever goes first, please be aware of that. To allow time for two contributions.
Is this time for me, Neil? Is this now for me?
Sorry, this slot is, yes.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Thank you. Oh.
You can stay there. Yeah.
We'll sit
I'll go
down
back
then.
to my-
Don't worry.
We'll sit here.
It's just follow up from Uppingham Council letter to Town and Rutland County Council, where we were showing disappointment at the level of weeding and mowing within the town, and thought that we weren't getting the support that we needed. We had a meeting scheduled then to discuss after a meeting that I had then with Rutland County Council and contractors. So I had a meeting with a lady called Emily Fricas, who came around with the contractors, and we had a look around main parts of the town that are on the judging route, and the contractors were making all the right noises and saying that they were going to get all the work done, and then we decided at the meeting then that we would go ahead with East Midlands in Bloom competition this year, after get some assurances from Rutland County Council and the contractors that all the relevant work would be done. I have an update just to say that I have seen sprayers out. They apparently only spray twice a year, and that is in May and October, and they just do the 2 sprays a year, which I did say to Emily Fricas I didn't feel was probably enough, or the spraying in May was probably too late. She said that there probably wasn't money to do a 3rd spray, so I have asked if they could potentially do the 1st spray a little earlier in the year, since they have no winter to speak of in future years. So she's going to discuss it with the contractors. I mean, there are particularly bad areas around the town that I don't know whether the spraying will have an effect on. North Street West is very bad. Round Adderley Street, where the heritage train is. So we've decided not to go along Adderley Street anyway on our route, just because I just thought that it would be far too much to try and get that done. So there are still issues outstanding. The spraying took place week beginning the 23rd of May, so we've got probably a couple of weeks then for it to have an effect, and then we're going to make a decision as to whether we need to do anything else, get in touch with them again and see. There are some areas within the town that are responding to the spraying, but the weeds that were probably waist high won't respond in time, I don't think. So I have emailed Emily Fricas back. Our judging dates I did send out was 13th, has been given to us as the 13th of July in the morning. So we have got a few weeks left for it to make a difference. I have just noted around the town this last week that there haven't been any mowing in the town, and the grass is sort of over a foot high in a lot of places, so I've mentioned that in an email to Emily as well. And I know that Rob Fisher from Uppingham School has had to do his own mowing outside the school houses just before speech day last weekend, so it looked tidy. So obviously he's had an issue with the contractors not making things good for events, although I don't know if council know when speech day is in Uppingham. I don't know if he contacts them or not, so we'll need to speak to him about that. I've been informed by Neil that there's now a litter picker in place for Tonsby, is that right, Neil?
Correct.
Yeah.
So this weekend.
Lovely. So it was an issue that we picked up on the walk round with the council, obviously that they don't look after Tonsby's they do empty the litter bins, but the litter bin was full next to the skate park and the litter was strewn all over around about the skate park. I picked it all up, went back the next day, and it was the same again. So Neil has said that there are more litter bins going in around the skate park, and hopefully they will start to use them.
Yep.
We have sent out a letter to we're in the process of sending out a letter to businesses to try and increase the amount of support and sponsorship that we get in the town. We've got 9 regular business sponsors only from all of the businesses within the town, so we are reapproaching board to try and get more support, get them to put floral displays out for sponsors, because we feel obviously we're struggling each year to raise enough money to get all the planting and all the upgrading of stuff that we need each year. We've been offered £1,000 from the council extra this year to help with any outstanding issues. I had a little chat with Neil just to say that we need to probably keep some money for potentially residual spraying in the town if the spraying that Rutland County Council will pay for hasn't worked, and we can hopefully not have to do so much hands-on weeding as we had to do last year. There was a discussion at our meeting as to whether we can support the town hall to look better. We didn't feel that probably we wanted to take the money from you and then give it you back, but we agreed with Neil that I'll speak to Rob Fisher regarding some pots, large terracotta pots, planters that he gets at cost. I think they're about £100 each, as to whether he's got any at the moment that we could probably pay for, and then maybe yourselves look to pay for the planting at the town hall. I know Neil said there are some hanging baskets and some planters being done, the small ones, but just to make it look more of an impact, because we are coming right down the high street with judging this year. I wanted to come past the town hall, but obviously if it's not looking fantastic, I was going to turn around and go back the other way, but I think hopefully we can help in some way.
Thank you.
Just as an amendment to, we've got grant aid to be discussed at council meeting. So just to say, we have asked for £2,000 this year, again, because we've had a rolling replacement of planters ongoing. We are replacing all of the planters in the town. We're now scrambling about for the money to pay Rob Fisher, who does all the planting of the in the town. So we're getting to the bottom of the barrel, I'm afraid, this year. So we have asked for £2,000 again this year.
Yep, indeed.
Okay. And also that we're developing the new beds at the traffic lights in Uppingham, just as a sort of impact beds within the town. And we've got one fully sponsored by Well and Vale, which is just needs edging, and the other one is being sponsored by Simply Plants, a local company, which is going to be tote-free letters, and hopefully that'll be done this weekend. And that's the update as we've got it.
That's a positive and helpful report for which we thank you.
Thank you.
And it's good to know that we're going ahead with the judging.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we did, but I think the initial response was a knee-jerk one from Rob Fisher, who just felt that it really wasn't good enough within the town, and he didn't want to make the effort anymore. But we've sort of won him round.
Thank you. Mr. Carpenter.
As you all know, I'm Neil Carpenter, I represent the market trades of Uppingham. Uppingham first asked to fill in the questionnaire for use when they are considering their plans for the town centre. They will also use it for gaining financial support from the town council, government and other such bodies. The questionnaire was quite meaningless about our concerns, but 40 traders replied, to which I have copies. On the questionnaire, there's no but for Clotting. The software covers MDs and Uppingham First member and also a town councillor. The result of the questionnaire was released some 6 months later to the public and town council, but it contained over 40 areas of misrepresentation. How many other surveys carried out by this body are misrepresented by them? So can we rely on this body for proper representation? One does wonder. Why can they now not be transparent and have proper honest consultation over their plans to change the marketplace for the market traders? If they do not, it will lead to the demise of the market for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else wanting to speak?
Just a very quick update on the surgeries, which are still ongoing, and last Saturday's surgery at the town hall was very successful. Lucy Stevenson, County Councillor Lucy Stevenson, had questions from 5 people with regards to various concerns around the town. There's also a representative, the community agents lady was there, and she was able to sit down and help questions. So the intention is to carry on with the monthly surgeries to allow town councillors and county councillors to hear concerns from the general public in the town.
Thank you very much. And in fact, I'm ready to do it in June. Very good. So go on to item 7, clerk's report and actions since last meeting.
Just before I run through the report, just a very quick one. In preparation for the committee meetings in the middle of June, you'll remember that we had some schedules of the priorities that we got per committee. I've started this week actually refreshing those and updating them with the latest situation. A number of them have moved on quite a bit, and there's quite a bit to update from the last sort of couple of months, whilst we've had a slight sort of hiatus in terms of committees and various other bits and bobs. So they will be issued by email for everybody to have a good read of and to provide me with any feedback ahead of committee meetings. And then using the feedback, I'll be in touch with the chairs of the individual committees to try and pull together the agenda content for the middle of the month, 15th of June. So they will make a reappearance shortly. So I've not put absolutely everything into this report, and there'll be some items on there, but I've tried to cover as much as I possibly can. Just to finish off on the freedom of entry, we've obviously launched the video since we last spoke, and just before Dave signed off as mayor, we sent out a number of thank you letters to sponsors and people that supported on the day. I've now had all the costs in, and we remain within budget. So that seems to have gone exceptionally well. I'm still occasionally tapped on the shoulder by people saying how much they enjoyed it some weeks later, which is encouraging. Skate park. Oh, crikey. It just makes it to 2 lines. Suffice to say, it wasn't a clean run-in and a quick getaway. We had a little bit of hassle in the last week trying to get stuff finished off and signs put up, and a little bit of a query over the final payment, not the amount, but more about who it had been made out to. So we managed to resolve that and get that sorted out. And cheerily, as he departed the building, he said, give me a call, email, whatever, if you've got any work that needs doing. Yes. So,
It's not your speed bumps.
no, he's not, no. Well, actually, I do speed dial him, he just doesn't come back to me. 3, Toss Peace Building Works. Pleased to report this was completed on time. Last Friday, we set a date for just before half-term break to get the works done for the path. You'll see if you've been on there that we've got the orange meshing around the actual soil area that's been seeded. The grass, I'm pleased to say, I can report, yes, weeds are growing rapidly in this current climate, but so's grass, which is good. So we have some grass coming through on that mud. It'll still remain screened for some time whilst it gets established. So the only thing that seems to be appearing is litter and new grass shoots. So that's looking good. I'm quite pleased with those works, and again we've had some really positive feedback. Just some holidays there noted for you. I've currently not got any training scheduled. Item 6 was just really to give you an update. the last, probably the last 5 or 6 weeks is quite a busy period for me in the clerk's office. We obviously have financial year end, and you're going to have a look at the reports and everything else. So this bit of work, the asset of community value, which was a resolution we passed a couple of months ago, is an item of work for me still to do, having passed the resolution. So what I've tried to do there is give you a potted history of events and work as I sort of see it. And that just sort of details some of the contact we had initially from the Royal Oak Community Support Action Group, but also sets out, now I've had an opportunity to talk with Uppingham County Council a little bit about the sort of steps I envisage taking and putting together with a view to undertaking some consultation, of which we've already had some from local residents, but we'll need to engage and consult with the wider community as well. So there's 3 or 4 points there that I've tried to summarise at the end of it, which just give you at headline level the sort of things I'm going to need to consider when we look forward to moving that piece of work forward. So I've kept in touch with the Royal Oak Community Society and advised them of where I'm at with this, and hopefully that gives a little bit of clarity for everybody in terms of the current state of play. If there are any questions, happy to take any questions. Okay.
Thank you for that report.
I've not finished yet, Alex, sorry. I've just done that one. I've added in the monthly council surgery. I wasn't aware Mark was actually going to attend, so there's no need to go over that. But Lucy helpfully provided me with a summary which I thought would be useful to include. I've then got two areas, as normal, just setting out what I've got immediately in the current month and then what I've got a bit further over the horizon in terms of activity. So obviously in June, the key thing for us is to finish off the financial year. So we will sign that off, hopefully fingers crossed tonight, and then we go through the process of external audit and public examination for the accounts. As I highlighted earlier, the priority schedules in terms of work that I've got on the pad and things I'm looking to do will come out to everybody for committees so that we can sort of kick-start that again and get that moving forward. And then we've got draft newsletter, we've got the asset community value, which I alluded to. Now we've got a new park attendant in place, weekend caretaker. There's an element of training that will be done over the coming couple of weeks to get him up to speed and taken over from me doing the open and closing of the WCs, which I can't wait to happen. I'm also then playing catch up with the first 2 months of the financial year while we've put the old financial year to bed. I've got my Silca modules to submit and get them in. And there's quite a big bit of work around pulling together all the allotment survey feedback. I've even had one in today. So if you'll just recall, one of the pieces of work was we looked at the rates for the allotments and took on board quite a bit of feedback. We've had quite a few responses so far, so I'll be actually reviewing those and again going through committee with some recommendations ahead of us issuing the renewals in September, so that we've got all the appropriate information at hand and we can sort of make sense of it. And critically, I think this month is to get the newsletter out, because we've got some quite important feedback to sort of kick off and consultation kick off with some online surveys and paper surveys. So there's going to be quite a bit of activity over the next 2 or 3 weeks in getting that all sorted. Just over the horizon, I won't go through everything individually. One of the things that I said I would do to myself, and I'm now sharing this with you, is that I would put in place a succession plan for me, which would ensure any future handover between the clerk, assistant clerk, or whoever's in situ at the time would not be exactly the same as I got when I joined the council. So that's quite an important piece of work, and I now feel like I've broken the back of a lot of the electronification of files, records and everything else, with the help of the young lad I had on support for the last couple of months. So I feel now I'm able to sort of round all that up and have suitably structured all the files and data that we've got held on the computer and hard drives, that actually it makes some sort of logical sense now, whereas before I'm not quite sure it did. So that's really the key thing to call out from that sort of period. We've also got, we're in the midst of the process for the Uppingham Town Centre funds, so we've just done the first round of reviews, and their feedback on those is going out as we sit here. We're then doing a bit more work around the funding for the potential refurbishment of the town hall. So there's quite a few bits and bobs. One other thing just on the, which is very topical, is the Corey contract for maintenance for the areas that we pick up. And that's going to be quite an interesting exercise because from a service level point of view, I think without prejudging anything, they're pretty good. They respond fairly quickly, but they only pick up part of the maintenance in town, not all of it. And that will be quite a complicated tender process, I suspect, given such high level of interest from everybody in making sure our town looks spot on, which is absolutely right. And I think that's about it. If there's any questions or any points anybody wants to pick up.
Thank you very much, Neil. It's safe to say you haven't been twiddling your thumbs. Very good. Any questions to Neil? Well, thank you very much. Excellent. All right, item 8. Receive reports from representatives working with external bodies or reports, emails. A Uppingham Neighbourhood Forum.
There is no council rep on there with Chair. It's not normally a matter of ritual.
Right.
Well, a number of councillors attended the last meeting of the forum. I picked up on my talking newspaper an article on the subject of the forum, but I don't think I've seen any minutes. Have there been any minutes?
No, through your chair, we're waiting for Janet to come back from a long weekend. I think they cleared them, they've been done, but they haven't been segregated yet.
Right. Does any other councillor who attended the meeting want to give a report? No?
I'll just say something. There was a lot of confusion at the neighbourhood forum about the Royal Oak, in that I think they were a bit misled into thinking that the council had already passed the proposition to put the Royal Oak on the register, which, as we know, is not the case, and that led to certain confusion in the room, particularly from the Queen Street residents who have been told that it hadn't already been placed on the register.
So the answer, Chair, through you, is that the video clip to it, was fortunately was filmed, is in the neighbourhood forum minutes, and every resident will look for themselves, and that should clear up exactly what was said on the night, and exactly what the resolution was. So that's one thing we do to help.
Sorry, we're referring to the meeting of this council, are we?
Yes, the video clip of it.
Yeah. I must say it was certainly most unfortunate that the neighbourhood forum received conflicting information on the subject of the Royal Oak. And I know that quite a number of members of the public left the meeting scratching their heads about the treatment of this council and individual members on it. But I won't say more than that.
I couldn't agree with you more, Chair. Two members said exactly opposite things. No wonder people are confused. That's why we put the video clip in so they can see for themselves.
And also, I think, Ron, the reason why you were going to check up with RCC.
Absolutely, yes. The process is online, it's very clear what needs to happen. Neil's on top of the process, as you can see from his report. It's absolutely clear. There's no requirement, for example, for public consultation, astonishingly, in the process that the County Council follows. So it's interesting in itself, and surprising for many. But it's all online, members can look for themselves exactly what has to be done.
Thank you. B, Uppingham in Blue.
I attended that meeting. It was very constructive. I can support everything that Pam said here tonight, and I'm just glad that Pam has stepped up from acting chair to become the chair, and there's a lot of confidence on the committee in her ability to do a good job and get us a successful result in July.
Thank you very much. Please jump in if you have any questions to anyone. Meeting with Paul Phillipson from RCC in reference to funding options for the town hall, and this was the 19th of May.
Alex, if I just give an update, and Sam, feel free to
Yeah,
add
okay.
anything.
Yeah, sure.
Present at the meeting was Dave Ainsley, Sam and myself, and Paul Phillipson was asked, this was it's a piece of work we've asked to do with RCC to look at the funding options for the refurbishment of the town hall. So effectively the outputs of this meeting will go back into finance and general purposes, and we asked RCC, there were 2 points really, for help and support with sources for grants, because any refurbishment, I think the general consensus was, as we've had discussions, that we want to secure as much towards the sort of 1.2, 1.3 million by grants as we possibly can. But Paul Phillipson came and did an excellent sort of short presentation to the three of us, looking at all the different options. They'd even looked at the potential SIL revenue that we would receive downstream from the developments in Uppingham. He also gave us some, it's the wrong word when I say inside information, but his experience in terms of Public Works Loans Board and what are the options available to us there. And also they helpfully talked about how the library may fit into the general equation of a move from Queen Street and incorporating that in a newly refurbished town hall, and how the value of